Welcome back to another episode of Wild Sports. I'm Fu. Got my boy Sean here with me.
Yup.
And this is a tough one. This is fresh the day of. Announced a couple hours
I
ago.
was about to say a couple hours.
Coach Nick Saban is retiring. He's out. It's a sad day for the Alabama nation. Obviously, me being one of them.
It's a sad day for football. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Like I'm sure a lot of D-bag fans are gonna be like, "Oh yes, finally he's gone."
yeah.
It's a legend.
Yeah, it's an end of an era. It hurts a little more over this way, but I think everybody can, respect what he's done. I think it's just like all the all-time greats. There's a lot of people that don't like him, but it's I think most people don't like him because he probably beat your team, most likely. But like, I think as a man, I think he's just fantastic. The principles he instills into young men, the stuff he does, the stuff he did to change young men's lives and all in the community, the stuff he does. I mean, he's just a great man off the field. Yeah, it's a sad day. I was talking to the family today. Of course, everybody's like calling each other and like can't believe it's happening. Like here it is, 17
I
years.
called Farva.
Oh yeah, he's
I should have called Farva.
Yeah, he's. I'm sure he's probably in a hole somewhere. But man, what a run! 17 seasons. Just some stats. Honestly, these things are way too long to even list the things that you could reel off. But 206 and 29, 9 SEC championships, 6 national championships at Alabama. This is all at Alabama, by the way. This isn't including
Right, because he's got one at LSU too. So
LSU, and then his
total.
record's even higher. This is just talking the stint at Alabama. So we know it goes even deeper. 7-time national champion overall. Things that stick, more first round draft picks than losses. He was ranked. Alabama was ranked number 1 in the nation 15 consecutive seasons. This was the first time they went 15, so they lost it this year. They were never ranked number 1 this year. Won 12 or more games in 12 seasons. 8 wins over number 1 teams. Alabama was ranked 261 consecutive AP polls. So, these things, you could do a laundry list of these things, but this is kind of what we talked about, or what you were saying, is that, just the effect he had on college football. I was reading that he has 41 former assistant coaches or players that have become head coaches. So I actually saw Greg McElroy talk about this too. And it's like, whether it in some way, shape, or form, he's probably affected your team in some way, shape, or form, in a good way. He's not only,
I don't think he's affected Georgia too much.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the top. But, like you said, you got Kirby Smart. Probably now, actually, I wouldn't say probably, I would say now the best coach in college football at Georgia. Just some other names: Mark D'Antoni, who's a future Hall of Famer, Jimbo Fisher, Derek Dooley, Will Muschamp, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, Mario Cristobal,
Glenn Schumann.
Glenn Schumann, Brian Daboll. There's the list goes on, but just to name a couple. Freddie
Kitchens.
He didn't coach Freddie Kitchens.
Oh, I thought he was with them.
No, Freddie was back when Alabama was back. When I was growing up.
My apologies, not Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, it goes on and on. The Saban tree of coaches is pretty wild. So just, a legend. I'd say the greatest to ever do it in college football, arguably in football ever.
You could definitely argue it.
What do you think? What are you thinking? I have my reasons, speculations why he got out.
All right. So if we're doing speculations, I think one of the main reasons is what college football is today. It's not what it was even 3 years ago, let alone
Yeah.
5 plus. All this money being thrown, and it's not the same old classic. Go recruit, go give your word, make your promises, coach them up, get them into the draft anymore. Because college football is turning into where you don't even need to get drafted to make your
Yeah.
money. Like, it's a different game now. So much so that there's rumors that Kirby Smart's going to take this interview with the Falcons and seriously considered it. So, I think that'd be my biggest speculation. I think a smaller speculation and a not so serious one is, like he said on the field with Kirby at the SEC championship game, he's like, you know what, I am getting a little too old for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's done his time. He's succeeded immensely.
Yeah.
So I think he just kind of wants to ride off in the sunset.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think ultimately he's 72 years old.
Which is shocking. He doesn't look a day over 50.
No, he looks great. But I think he's 72 years old. I kind of saw in a way this coming. People. I always said I could see him coaching. I was actually talking a couple weeks ago with some friends, and I was like, "Look, I could see him either coaching 10 more years, or I think it's close." I said, one, it was the change in him this year. It was the first time I'd see him really he joked around a lot more in a situation where he used to never joke. Alabama was under the gun after week 2. Our backs were against the wall the entire season after week 2. Week 3, they had a rough game against South Florida, starting all those other letting all those other quarterbacks play, and he was always still cutting up, and where before it was he would have been angry. And so I think to me, what I looked at it was he was taking it all in, kind of enjoying the moments and enjoying what he was doing. I always kind of had that feeling, and it didn't help when I saw that this offseason he bought a $17 million house in Boca Raton or somewhere, Fort Lauderdale, or like a huge beach house. So I kind of was like, okay. I don't think you buy something like that and not have plans on using it pretty soon. But, I think it's that. I think that's a big portion of it. I've heard some speculations. I don't know ins and outs, but I've heard maybe some health things with family members, let's just say. I don't know that to be true. That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Mark, my cousin, I didn't hear this from Mark, the health thing, but he told me today at work 3 hours before the announcement, and I was in the middle of doing all sorts of stuff at work, and he was like, hey, he goes, my buddy just texted me, it's got a good inside source, it says Saban's retiring today. And I was like, dude, shut up. You hear this shit, I've been hearing this for 10 years, I feel of him. He's going to the pros. He's going to Texas. He's going to the Cowboys. He's retiring. He's doing this, that, and that. And I literally blew it off. I was like, dude, get out of here. And then 2 or 3 minutes before I got the ESPN notification, he was like, I told you. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, Saban. And I was like, no way. And then I opened up my phone and it was I saw something. And then 2 seconds. So it was he knew before, but
yeah, who does he know?
I know, seriously. He knows somebody. I'm not kidding you. Honest to God, he told me 3 hours before it was announced. So, yeah, so I think it's that. And I think you're right. College football has completely changed, and it's, I don't see any stop as far as the NIL, how they're going to hone this thing in.
I think NIL is only it's a huge problem. But I think the no boundaries of these transfers is a huge problem as well. Like,
Yeah.
for example, this UNLV quarterback that just transferred to Georgia 2 days ago or whatever, within 24 hours said, no, I'm going to USC instead.
Oh, really?
What? Like, he went straight. He was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm committed to UGA. In less than 24 hours, I'm committed to Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be some type of not like just guidelines, dude.
Yeah, they've got to get that figured out for sure. But yeah, it's a sad day. We were talking. I was talking with mom. I was like, I feel like I lost a dog. You know, like not a family member. Let's not take that. But it was just like I feel like I lost a dog. It's like, dang, like, are you serious? Like, I don't know. I guess it's just you knew it was coming, but you know, I guess I wasn't expecting it.
We had this conversation with Farva. Was it March?
Yeah,
Was when we were up there for the golf trip. We were literally talking about this for years down the road.
I bet he doesn't want Billy Napier anymore. Remember, that was his guy. That was his guy, dude. I was like, I'm taking Kirby. I was like, I can have whoever I want. Give me Kirby Smart. No, dude, no way.
No.
I was like, yeah, you're crazy. So let's get into it. I mean, this is. I'm dealing with a lot of emotion here.
Before we do the coaches, I want to name a couple really standout players that got into the league.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So, for years and years of Saban time, quarterbacks were kind of like a ha-ha, you can't ever get one into the league.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Bryce Young, and Mac Jones. It's not on this thing that I have, but I'll go ahead and throw you your boy AJ.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
He's been a serviceable backup, and he made some great, a great name for himself in the other league he went and played in.
Yep.
Running backs: Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, Mark Ingram, Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson. I named those two because they had good careers early on.
Yeah.
TJ Yeldon had a great career early on. Kenyon Drake, solid.
Still
back.
playing.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure I'm missing some, but I mean, I've named like 3 or 4 that weren't on this list that they sent me.
Yeah.
Wide receivers: Julio, Amari Cooper, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. Those are just guys that are still playing today.
Yeah, I think I saw 4 of them have 1,000 yards this season.
Cooper, Smith. Did I say Waddle? If I did, I meant to.
Uh-huh.
I don't think Jeudy and Ridley got a K.
I can't remember. I saw it today. That was like the first time in NFL teams had 4 or college teams had 4 wide receivers with 1,000 season.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention if he stayed out of trouble, Ruggs was in the league and he was playing decently. I'm drawing blank on some other ones, but I've only got a handful of defensive players, but I think it goes without saying that
there's a lot of those.
Defensive players got sent. The ones that got sent on this one, though, is Minka Fitzpatrick, Patrick Surtain, Trayvon Diggs, Marlon Humphrey, Quinnen Williams, Will Anderson, Dante Hightower. I mean, there's so many more. So many more.
Yeah.
But those are just, a few to mention. He had an incredible run of, developing talent. Not to mention, like, getting the best talent, yeah, but developing them into becoming star NFL players. He had a great knack for that. So now we can jump into our coaching predictions or odds or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so obviously some big names. I mean, all big names being out there.
Just so you know, Kirby's off the table.
Yeah, Kirby's not. That's a 0% chance. I mean, I would never say 0, but 0.00001.
I would also never say 0.
Yeah, but 0.00001. So the big names that I'm hearing starting this thing out, I think the number one name I'm hearing first is Dan Lanning.
See, all right. So remind me again. When you sign a contract with a team, coach-wise, you can just leave whenever you want?
Yeah, you're like, if Alabama was take Dan Lanning and you just sign a contract, like Alabama will pay it out.
Jesus.
There's probably a buyout clause just like there is in a firing clause.
Okay.
So then the other team will pick up. Most likely.
Dang, I can't find my.
So I mean, I'm hearing Dan Lanning, Dabo, of course.
Yep.
Kiffin. I'm seeing some stuff about Sarkisian.
Interesting.
I think Kalen DeBoer from Washington,
The Washington
is
coach,
also.
yeah.
Of course, you're going to hear Dion.
Have to.
James Franklin, seeing that some. All right. Personally, coming off of, I mean, this, I know, it's kind of like you're grieving right now. So it's like,
Yeah, you don't want to read these.
It's tough to, I mean, of course I'm interested, like I want to know, but like I know that it's hard to ever, I mean, it's not going to be like it has been, First take off of it, I like Dan Lanning. He's young. He hadn't had a lot of time, but I mean, I think he was 25-5 at Oregon or something like that. 25-4.
He's done a great job.
So, kind of first thoughts is I'm thinking Dan Lanning. Kiffin makes me nervous. I think Kiffin is super talented, but I don't know if he's mature enough yet. I mean, I don't know. I know he's getting older, but can he make that hump? It's tough to do at Ole Miss. Does Alabama give him that chance? I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of Dabo anymore. Not just because of the season he's had, but I think he hates college football and the way it is.
Yeah, he's in the same boat.
I think I think he cannot stand how college football is. He doesn't believe in the transfer portal. He doesn't do it really. I don't think he's with the new. So that's why I'm kind of leaning Dan Lanning, because he's young. He's not as used to, like, Coach Saban had done it for 30 years. So it's like, what is going on? Like Dan Lanning is like, he's walked into the new age of college football. I'm really intrigued by Kalen DeBoer, I think, just because of his success at Washington. I mean, to get Washington to a national, I know Washington's been in the playoff before and they've had some success, but hey, I watched him too, like during the halftime of the game, and I really liked his demeanor. Crazy shots I'm hearing. Mike Norvell out of Florida State.
Norvell's up there, yep.
I'm seeing Mike Norvell a lot, and I think Josh Pate or somebody said, like, some college football team needs to be prepared to have their world turned upside down.
There's also another Mike on the table who just got fired from an NFL team in Tennessee.
Vrabel. I don't want Vrabel.
I mean, I'm sure you don't, but that is another guy that people are.
I'm seeing Dan Quinn too.
Man, I'm
seeing crazy stuff.
If Quinn leaves Dallas,
please no.
He's getting paid at head coach money.
Yeah.
And you've got a phenomenal situation out there. Like, if you leave Dallas, I think you're just an idiot. I'm not going to lie.
So a name that I'm not seeing brought up that I think would be interesting.
Todd Monken?
No.
Oh.
Urban Meyer.
It's disgusting.
I don't know. I thought disgusting. Of it. I was just thinking, I haven't seen anything on him. And people talk about him every year becoming a head coach. So why are they not talking about it now? Maybe it'll gain steam. I don't know. But I'm not saying I would want Urban Meyer, but I mean, the dude wins everywhere he goes. But I think he's getting older and he's a head case. I think at best, even if he won national championships every year, he'd probably be there 3 years.
You'd find him in a bar with some cheerleader.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of riding hard on Dan Lanning, to be honest with you. I think that's where I'm at right now.
I love Dan Lanning. First off, I just want to make that.
And he coached at Alabama. He was a graduate assistant in Alabama, so that's where he got his start. So, he's been there. He's under Coach Saban's tree. He understands it. Obviously, what he's doing, whatever he's taken and learned and I think he coached at Georgia for a little bit too. Correct?
He was DC.
Okay, so that's right.
That's where he was before Oregon.
So he's been under probably the greatest and soon to be one of the best ever probably to do it as well. So he's learned a lot. The people I don't even want to entertain the fact. I don't want to entertain Deion Sanders.
I agree.
I do not want to entertain James Franklin. I think what James Franklin did at Vanderbilt, what he did at Vanderbilt was unbelievable. I mean, he's winning 10. I think he won 10 games twice at Vanderbilt, maybe 11 one year, did he?
For sure, 10.
He got double-digit wins at Vanderbilt. So
consecutive seasons, I think. Double-digit.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the home run hires, I think, if you could get them, would be Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian.
See, I haven't even seen Sarkisian.
I'm seeing, but I don't think there's any chance. I don't think he leave. Why would you leave Texas? I mean,
So
he's got a good thing going.
I agree with your Lanning take, your Lanning call. But since you picked that up, I'm going to pick I think my two favorites outside of Lanning, because I don't want to copy.
Is this your favorites who you would like to be the head coach or who you think are going to be the head coach?
Who I think.
Okay.
I think is between, honestly, DeBoer. Although he seems like I built this type of guy. I want to stay here and continue it. That's the type of guy I see in him. And Norvell.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about Norvell. I just kind of saw that for the first time, and I'm not really.
It's like with Norvell, it's like I don't blame the Florida State guys for sitting out. I don't. They're doing what they think's best for themselves, and you can't harsh on a guy that does that, right? You're just trying to do something that's best for you, your family, and your future. So I can't really, throw too much shade on that. But a coach like Saban, a coach like Kirby, not makes them play, but those players want to play for that coach.
Yeah.
They want to play that game for that coach. Because Brock would have played. Ladd did play. Our offensive linemen played. We had starters in for the first half of that game.
Yeah.
And the only reason they came out was we were up 40. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think realistically.
I wonder if he is a great. I don't know.
It's hard to tell. I mean, that's a tough position. They got put in a bad spot, but
yeah,
he got them. I mean, he did all he could do, really. The only reason they were left out was the injury, I think. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, honestly, I think I would think the odds on if I think who would actually become it. I'm almost thinking Kiffin because he's been there. He always talks well about Alabama. He loves them. You know that. I think he just loves Coach Saban. But, I'm just looking at the schools you're trying to pick from. Oregon, great opportunity, great place to be there. You can win. Easier conference to win in. Mike Norvell, ACC. I mean, they're obviously in shambles there. With the ACC trying to get out and all that. So, but still, you're at Florida State. Said Dan Lanning at Oregon, Sarkisian at Texas. I don't see that ever happening.
Right.
Dabo, again, he's built Clemson up to what it is. Why do you want to try and come in and, what a tough situation to walk into. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of steam about Dan Lanning, so that kind of seems like the big thing, but
I say we just give Favre what he wants.
No, do not bring in Billy Napier.
No,
what's crazy is I just had a flashback to when we were doing this in 2007. Not you and I, but just Alabama and being like, "Who are we going to get?" And I mean, I was a senior in high school, or no, I was a sophomore. Sophomore,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school, and it was just like, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I know who I wanted. I wanted Steve Spurrier. I was like, I really want Spurrier. So this was before Spurrier went back to South Carolina and actually did pretty well. So Spurrier was still younger, and I was like, I want Spurrier. And then when they were like, they hired Nick Saban, I was like, okay, like that's not who I was thinking at all, and really didn't know a whole lot about him. Other than, I mean, I remember they won the national championship, but I guess social media wasn't as big of a presence back then, so you couldn't read as much or see. But no, I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to happen pretty quick, just because of the time. I mean,
in college, you need a decision.
You've got to continue. I mean, you've got recruits.
Recruiting.
You've got recruits backing out. You got guys like, wait a minute, transfer portal stuff going on. So I think it's got to happen pretty quick. But I don't think they'll rush. I think they'll wait to try and get the best possibility that they can get. I hope they do.
Well, let's give our flowers to a phenomenal career.
Yeah.
I mean, just an absolute legend of the game. Will go down in history as arguably, I don't think there's much of an argument, but arguably the best college coach of all time.
Sad day, but
it is.
Hey,
it's a sad day for the sport, man.
The memories I've got over. I mean, like I said, I saw my mom all the national championship trips, SEC championship. You and I got to go. Just man, what a run! I mean, what a great time. I mean, glad that I got to watch it, and hopefully the next guy comes in and continues to carry it. Probably not to that extent.
At least just has success.
But hey, going to a 12-team playoff, there's a lot more wiggle room than there once was.
Anything is possible.
That's right. So we'll see. Y'all let us know, who do you think is going to be the next head coach at Alabama? My Alabama fans out there, everybody doing okay? Y'all let me know. I know y'all are probably struggling too, but y'all like, comment, subscribe. Again, let us know who you think. Who's the next guy? Till next time.